What's going on? What's going on, everybody? I probably should turn that off. This is Sean, formerly of Gaming MBS and a few other initiatives. Today's Saturdays with Sean, where I get online and talk about RPG news and things that have happened in the last week. Maybe some, not all. With help from our chat. Which reminds me I should probably pull up. Herman, good to see you. 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 I am. Did it stop? I think I stopped. I know what the problem was. I had the video open to make sure it was working, and I have my sound device to pick up my voice and the browser, so I apologize. Here again. Guten Morgen to all of you. Thanks for joining. Much appreciated. It's December. How many shopping days do we have? 21 shopping days as of this recording. Just thought I'd remind you. Jason Weitzel, good to see you. Not at PAX. Unplugged. Although he stopped there yesterday, it sounds like. And did some gaming. Got a decent haul, it looks like. Is PAX run by those Penny Arcade guys? Is that the deal? Such a weird thing. Like PAX. It's the con. It's not like I know cons very well, but it seems as though they just came out of nowhere and have like 3 or 4 a year. It's crazy. And they're not small. Like, how many thousands of people do they get to each one? It's crazy. Got no video. Yeah, it's probably you. Do a refresh. I hope it's still going. Should be still going. I think I'm streaming every Saturday in December. Today's the 3rd, the 10th, the 17th, the 24th. 24th I should be able to make. I don't know if everybody else will be able to, but. And then the 31st, New Year's Eve. Right? Do I have all my dates correct? I should. It's massive. PAX, run by those guys from Penny Arcade, thousands upon thousands. Philly Convention Center is a 4-block kingdom in Center City. Yeah. That is the epiphany. That is the that's not the right word. That is a perfect example of having a following and then implementing something that caters to your following that just takes off or gets bigger than, like, I don't even think there's probably a lot of people that go to PAX and maybe don't even tune into Penny Arcade. I'm one of those guys. Like, I'd probably go to PAX and never read or tuned into anything Penny Arcade. So it's like if you have 1,000 followers, you can do a lot. You know, you can move mountains and things of that nature. What's up, Hoos? Good morning, Hoos. I will talk softer and slower and maybe a little more dulcet, since you are very early morning over there. So you let me know when you've had your coffee, and so I can get back to my normal volume and tone. Morning, Herman. Again, I think he's saying good morning to Hoos. Yeah, PAX. Yeah, I think there's a PAX West, a PAX East, and then there's PAX Unplugged. I think there's a few. But I think they canceled one, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the South one? Southern one? Imagine that's like your full-time job, setting up a gaming convention. Orcus Dorcas, Guten Morgen, says I'm tad sad about the Conan news, but I had a massive run. I just hate when a company has to bow out on the heels of an incomplete project, much like One Ring. Is it incomplete? Is it incomplete? I thought that they kind of did their run. They weren't in the middle of like, hey, we're gonna do like 5 more books, and then it got yanked. Did they? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Gabe would know. All good things come to an end. At least one more book didn't make it out. There's one more about the Picts, which did not come out. Spear and Fang. See. May not. Got it. Well, I'm glad to have the experts in the chat because I would have no clue. That's why it's important for you guys to show up every week and help out. Be part of it because you guys are part of this. You guys are the silent partners. The nonverbal. This week's cost of entry. Let's say, we'll just get to it because I think it's going to, I don't know if it'll be next week again or the following week, but what game have you not played that you're going to try to get to the table in 2023? We didn't do that last week, right? What game 2023 one first, like the top of the list, not 3 or 4, one that you haven't played yet that you're going to get to the table, and maybe and get to the table as a game master. Not play, run. Maybe do play the next week, which I'll totally forget, and you guys have to remind me. Jason says the Conan IP is like that uncle that's been divorced 5 times, both by tabletop companies and comic book publishers and video games. And board games. And Salt Heart, good to see you. Morning, Roger. Using the 2D20 SRD, you can make your own sword and sandals game. Dune. Woohoo! I'll tell you what's more before I get on the sand floor. Don't bring me Dune. Don't bring me Dune. Yeah, you long for the voice and the singing. I do my damnedest to deliver. Don't bring me Dune. Dune. Hoos, does Blade Runner count? Yes, of course it counts. You're going to run Blade Runner, Hoos? This is running. It's going to run. Blade Runner. Today's question, Roger, is what game are you going to run? All right, cool. Who's are you going to run in 2023? One game you're going to do your damnedest that you have not run before, that you are going to get to the table to run. Not play. Play is relative, but we're talking about GM. I think mine is going to be so many. There's so many. And I have the opportunity to do it now that our like game groups like we're gonna filter through some games. So I have some leverage to slide it in somewhere. Phil says Call of Cthulhu. Phil, you have never run Call of Cthulhu? I am a little surprised. Who says Blade Runner, if not Coriolis? Who's has gotten into the free league? Yeah, buddy. You're welcome. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't have anything to do with that. Salthart says Drakkar Dominar will be played in 2023. Huzzah. It has been declared. It has been written, so it shall be done. Salthart of Salted Land. Harrigan says, I've already got 2 in BSRCon, Simbarum and Barbarians of Lemuria, at least live. Hey, Harrigan, I suppose that is 2023, right? So there you go. Yeah, if you're running at BSRCon for the first time, there, bing, bing. Check it off. Phil says, haven't run it. Wow. All right. I'm interested to hear how it goes, Philly Phil. Philly Phil, who is not from Philly. Jason says 2023 Nations and Cannons 5e. Just got it at PAX. Revolutionary War setting for 5e. Flag Bearer by Flag Bearer Games. Tailor-made for me. Yeah, you're a revolutionary kind of guy, Jason? Never heard of it before yesterday. Did you get into Blackbirds? Is that the one, right? It's Fahander, whatever press. Phil says the Dragonbane beta PDF looks really good. Zwiefer, good morning. The entry question of the day is what RPG are you going to get to the table to run in 2023? Just one game that you are going to run that you have not run before. Roger says, Fragnarok, Hardwired Island Viking Death Squad. Booyah! Duck. Quack, quack. I think anytime somebody mentions, is it Dragonbane got duck in it? They got ducks in it? I know Mutineer Zero does. If they do, every time I hear Dragonbane, I'm just going to go quack, quack. That's the deal. Orcus Dorcas says it's an old one, but now that I have collected them all, I'm going to get ElfQuest to the table one way or another in 2023. So it is written, so shall it be done. Zwiefer, Forbidden Lands, Bambooya. Well, there's a few people that can give you some pointers, that's for sure. The mallards are pretty cool. Oh, so they do have ducks and Dragonbane. Quack, quack. It's a deal killer for this guy, I think. Like, I wasn't big on Dragonbane anyway, just because it's like, do I need another fantasy RPG? And survey says no. There just wasn't enough for me to be like, cool, awesome. Not that I looked deeply into it, but if it's got ducks and mallards. Sorry. Hard no. Stocked up on stuff at Game Holes, Veefer says. Nubis has retracted his statement Hello, Nubis. Good afternoon. Oh yes, do I need another RPG? The answer is always yes. Roger said he did not understand that question when I put it in the Discord at one point. It's like he didn't compute. I think it was Roger. Mothership for sure. Tales from the Loop. And Monster of the Week maybe. Also good morning. Yes, Nubis. Well, now, Nubis, I'm not wanting you to bite off more than you can chew. We've realized that some of the, hey, I'm going to get this to the table 2022 did not happen. So rather than list 5 or 3, just one that that way it's a little, we could set the proper expectations across the board so that you don't, let yourself down when you don't get all 3 to the table. Phil says your free league collection will forever be incomplete then, Sean. Mega fan status revoked. Yes, that is fair. There's a couple games I don't have from free league. I don't have in physical print or in print, physical form. What game? I don't have Mutineer Zero, the core. I won't have Dragonbane. I don't have. Yeah, so that about wraps it up, I think. I don't have Merc Borg, but I don't know if I consider Merc Borg like core free league, like into the odd, right? I mean, it's under their catalog and they help publish it and put it out, but it's not, wouldn't consider it core free league, maybe. It said, fits the tone though, lighthearted adventure. The Mallards do? Yeah, that's fine. Adrian L., good to see you. Good morning from Seattle. Yeah, who's is from the Washington area? Adrian, who's in the chat. I don't know. Is this your first time? I apologize if I had seen you before. I see the usuals that I always click with, and so welcome, Adrian. If you haven't tuned in before, appreciate it. Grab a cuppa. Heck, even some people even turn off the video and just listen to me. So as they drink and do things around their kitchen or something, and have it up on their phone or tablet. So not telling you what to do. That please don't get me. Don't misinterpret, please. I'll do whatever I want. I'm going to go get some coffee now. Thank you very much. So Adrian continues. I just got a bunch of Mothership supplements on Black Friday. I really want to play Mothership or a similar game. You have not ever played, Adrian? There's a few in the chat that we've played a couple times, the original. You have been here one time before. Sometimes I watch the VODs. Ah, okay. Sweet. Thank you. Much appreciated. This is the unedited version. Like any of the other ones are edited. Oh. Sometimes people lurk, and that's cool too. So it's very fine. Nations and Cannons, there's role-playing guidance on playing as a Pennsylvania Dutch mercenary. Because nothing says Jason Statham in a Dutch revolutionary uniform. From Pennsylvania Dutch country. My family spoke the dialect. I can't put it into words. My excitement. Oh. A little bit of personal touch there then. Nice. That's fantastic. Who's Carl, the great and excellent Vasengiam? Wow, high praise. High praise. we don't want to typecast Hoos. I think he's been typecasted a little bit, and that's a little unfair to Hoos as the Harn master guy. He is multifaceted, multidimensional. Nubis is a big lurker. Look at him as he types out, I'm a big lurker. It's all right, Nubis. That's all right. Any YZE game, Herman says. That might be an easy one. Did I answer the entry? I didn't. I've procrastinated. I've distracted you guys, but can't get one over on Sweefer. God blast it all. I think I'm gonna try. Dude, I've been saying this for like 5 years. Like, it's a long time, but I'm gonna say, can you guess it? I'm gonna give you a hint. It's one that I've said on Gaming and BS for at least 3 years. That I swear I'm gonna get to the table. I want to play, and I never ever do. If you can guess, you get a very big virtual pat on the back. I will give you a tingle verse. I don't even know what that is. Gabe Diving. The dude he knows. Gabe, you're right. That's the one. That's the one. That is the one. No, I'm not pulling a bait and switch. That's the one. It's feeding the dorgs. Feeding Al. The question was, what am I going to get to the what am I going to get to the table in 2023? And I said that the question is what question? What are you going to get? Al and Trudy. Trudy, fantastic name. Both awesome names. Like, here, let me show you Al and Trudy. it's like my aunt and uncle, or my aunt and uncle, depending on where I am in the country. I was providing a hint because somebody was pressing me. Zwiefer was pressing me for my answer, and I had not given it. And I said that it's the one game that I always talk about, and I always say for the last 3 years I'm getting to the table, and I never do. And Gabe, without any hints, got it. So, Phil, Gabe answered it for me. Cold Shadows. Because some of you guys probably aren't even reading the chat, so I apologize. Like, I'm reading the chat. Can't you just see it? So, no, that's fine. Cold Shadows. I got to get it to the table. I'm going to make Phil and Harrigan and Kevin and Wayne play it. And it's got to be multiple sessions because it's not one that you can do a one shot with it, I think, but many of the components of the game require kind of a campaign thingy. Like, it builds upon itself a little bit. There's elements of that session to session because it's been a little while, but wait a minute. Harrigan says, it's on the list. I put it on the list. Roger says I'd play in that game. Well, if all else fails, Roger, not that you're my backup by any means and a second-class citizen. That is not my intention, but yeah. Spy game set in Europe. What's the tour? Cold Shadows. Yeah. So if you guys... Yeah. Sorry, Roger. I love Roger. Patron. Yeah. How to like get rid of followers very easily. Just call them second-class citizens. Yeah. Whew. That's like not good. Roger, I love you, man. It's a grave. He's been with us for a long time, that guy. Unsubscribed. He's just like blocked. Is blocked the next thing. Unfollowed, blocked, reported. Please be my humble apologies, my man. Of course. Formal apology. I'll have to draft up a formal apology. Maybe even get off this stream and call Roger. Oh man. Yeah. Now I have to include Roger. Make it up to them. The Inside Clubhouse. Those guys I play every Thursday night with. That's why. And it started with the free league. Forbidden Lands. So. And I just haven't had the heart to leave them. Has everybody chimed in? Roger just signed up for the Titter Pigs Patreon. Nice. Anything I could do to help, right? Like just become a dumpster fire. I could be Twitter. I could be the Twitter of my community. Like, man. Harrigan says, I'll ramp up TPK activities. Oh, I take that to say I want to play. I want to play the Cold Shadows. So who? I got a book. I could probably bring up the actual PDF, actually show you. Could do that. Maybe I'd do that. Maybe at the end. We'll see. I could go through Cold Shadows a little bit. I've talked about it on and off so often that I know some people are going to be like, Sean, we've already heard this spiel. But maybe it's been a year or two since you have. I don't know. For those of you not in the know, Cold Shadows is a Cold War espionage RPG that was done by Alan Barr, right? Like I think he was one of the spearheaded. There's like 4 people involved in the game, and put out by what's Alan's publishing house? Damn it. Gallant Knight Games. Yeah. Gallant Knight Games came out in 2017. So that's like going on 6 years I've had this game and haven't played it and gotten to the table. And it really appealed to me, and I kickstarted it. And not only did I kickstart it, I went all in. And then I had other people that got like duplicate copies or copies they knew they were never going to play. And then they sent me those. So I lied. I lied on Discord inadvertently. I apologize. This, I think, is the only game I have multiple hard copies of. There was a conversation where people were talking about how many hard copies they have of different games. Like DCC people have, that's a different hard copies because they have different covers, and, you know, they like to get multiple copies to hand out to players at, you know, conventions or the gaming table when they play face to face. And I said, I don't have a single RPG I don't have a duplicate hard copy of anything. Well, I do. It's Cold Shadows. Look at that. It all comes around today. Like it's something weird about today in the conversation. But anyways, Cold Shadows, espionage Cold War game. It's if you are familiar with John Wick's Houses of the Blooded, and if you're not, that's okay. But that's where the rules come into play. Blood and Honor is the original license of the system. So it's D6 die pool based, and you are trying to roll a 10 or higher on your dice. So the more dice you have, the more likely you are to have that happen. And essentially the way it works is you have a GM, so it's not GM-less, and then you have the players, and they play agents, of course. There are aspects that are involved and traits of the characters. And if you can apply those to a particular situation and there's a die roll, you get a certain amount of dice depending on what your rank in that is. So even if you just have it like an aspect, then you would get a die for that. You roll your dice, and the person who wins, so if the player if the player succeeds in their die roll, then they get privilege. And that privilege allows the player to narrate the situation. which is an interesting dynamic because it doesn't say that the player wins or succeeds necessarily. They just get privilege. So the player potentially could say, I'm the thing I want my agent to do, I'm actually going to want them to not be able to do it. So they get to basically narrate what that looks like. The only question I have about it is how far, because there's another component of the, I think is it raises? There's another component of the mechanics where the more successes or things of that nature, the more you can narrate or dictate. So that is a little fuzzy to me, where it's like, where does it end? So yeah, and it's not a really dense rules book. It's like 121 pages, and there's a character sheet in the back, but Cold War theme, no guns. Like the way if you do combat there, I think it's strike is the word. Like if you say strike, you get the drop. Like that's it. And you get to go first in your combat and shoot. And if you shoot somebody in this game, like more than likely they will probably die. So it is not a shoot 'em up game. If you're a Cold War agent in the 50s, you're probably not crossing the East German border with a handgun. So it's very cloak and dagger. It's very much influenced by Jean le Carré novels, and the like, right? The spy who came in from the cold, things of that nature. So it's not going to be any huge action. And so it's a narrative based game, right? That's kind of the deal. So there's some dice and there's some chits that you move around. Yeah. And there's dynamics where like trust comes into play a little bit. So there you go. I've not played Cold Shadows in solo mode. I did not even realize there was that. Maybe it's been a while since I've read it. Reminds me of another one I want to run in 2023. It's Cold War era, but I'm more pulpy comic book appeal, Troubleshooters, which is something I think Harrigan has. And I think I have Troubleshooters in PDF, which is right. It's kind of like the Austin Powers without the comedy. Is how I look at Troubleshooters. HOTB? What am I missing? What is that? Help me out. French-Belgian comics based. Oh, the Troubleshooters? We should probably get to the Houses of the Blood. Duh. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, this would be mine, I guess. And one of the reasons is because when you get done with a mission, there is an in-between piece. I think that, well, let me back up. In this game, I doubt you could probably do everything in one one session. But the reason it would be multiple sessions is because you build your agency. Unless you pick a default one, you can actually build your own agency. And then if you build your agency, that agency has traits. And if you belong to that agency, you get the traits of the agency, right? And each agency only maybe has one or two, right? Like I think two. And so I think like the CIA is financial and something else. So if you're a member of the CIA and anything that's financial or needs budget or money or resources financially, and in the situation calls for that, like, hey, I'm going to try to requisition something for this specific operation, and you belong to the CIA, you could say, because of the CIA, I have an extra die because that's their thing, right? And then there's one that I think like KGB might like be super secretive or something like that. So anything that involves something super secret, because we're super secret, grab a die, put it to your pool. So you can build your own agency. And then you have to have a director for your agency that you report to, and your director has certain traits. So that plays along with your character. So that's hard to probably do in like one single one shot or a single session, if you will. All right. What are we talking about today? I'm cleaning up the ones from last week that are on here that we've already gone over. Click, click, bang. Don't let me dune. My goal is to get that in your brain before you leave the stream. I'll tell you once more before I get on the floor. Don't let me dune. You're welcome. I'm a big fan of games when you're building something between scenarios which become important or usable in the game, a la Castle Invasion. Yeah. Should we lead off with the news that some of us mentioned and have showed up for that we know? Should we? Where is it? I didn't bookmark it. Why didn't I bookmark it? I'm going through our Discord right now. That's fantastic, right? Huh? And I could have just put this in this morning and I didn't. Why did I not do it? Don't bring me Dune. And I probably didn't even read the whole thing because I think I've been corrected on a couple things of this piece. La 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 la. What is going on, man? I think I skipped right over it somewhere. Ah, for Pete's sakes. Booger. That's not it. Looking through the Discord for this garbage and I cannot find it. Here we go. I found it. No, I got a Gabe. Look at him. He knows what I'm coming to. Gabe's. I might as well just hand it over to Gabe and run this thing. So for those of you that are not in the know, the Conan license update. Modiphius has owned the Conan license, has been licensing the Conan IP for its 2D20 products, role-playing game products. And that is coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen. It's an end of an era. I don't even know what's going to happen. Like, what are we going to do, Gabe, with you? I mean, it lives on. It's, RPGs live on. They don't go away. Cripes, you can get, holy cripes. Cripes, you can just go on eBay and probably get the old Star Trek from Unicorn Games. Cripes, criminy. I wonder, does it say in here why they lost it? Is it just expiring and they don't want to renew it? I don't remember. Maybe we should read the article. So this is on Modifius, and it's the Conan license update. I'll put that link in the chat so you guys can know what I'm looking at. It's time in the end game. Chris Birch, who is the chief creative officer of Modifius, writes, hey, this is when we first started exploring Robert E. Howard's Conan, blah, 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 blah. And then in the end of that paragraph, it's essentially saying it's time to pass on the mantle to new hands who can tell a new story in the Hyborian age. So the role-playing game line under license from Heroic Signatures, formerly Cabinet Entertainment, will end on December 31st. No more restocks are being ordered, and all stock will be sold by June 30th, 2023. So it's going to, so the third-party market and eBay will have these things starting to creep up. Part of me is like, I should just buy like 5 of those hardbacks, just sit on them and sell them in like 6 months. However, the problem is like sometimes they may not go up. Like some of those old Star Trek games, I think on eBay. I mean, let's see what happens. Like I think Star Trek is a good property to maybe compare it to and what may happen, right? So Star Trek, come on, man. Where am I? Search. Star Trek. Oh my God. RPG. So getting out the Modifius, I mean, even the FASA vintage box on eBay is $25. Where, what else? I'm trying to scroll through, like $25 for another one. I mean, there's nobody playing it, right? Like, that's the issue. So that's Conan right there. But there's so many Conan out there. Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. I'll end up buying 5 of those books. They won't be worth jack over time. I'll end up losing money. I'm trying to see if the Star Trek Unicorn games, or I think there was another one that was in there too. That was, there it is. There's one. Last Unicorn games, Sean, not Unicorn games. Last Unicorn games. And I don't know if you guys know this. I had this book. I think I had this book. And my buddy Jeff, some of you know Jeff from my mentioning of him. Yeah, Sean, baby. He's a good longtime friend of mine, for those not in the know, who's just like crazy at the table at times. And he's a huge Star Trek fan. And he actually has like, I think every version of the Star Trek, RPG game. And he actually was building his own. So he was taking like pictures from all these and he put it all in one binder. And it was crazy. Like just, and then he had it printed. I think I have to have a copy. I think I do. And I think he gave them all out. Like he had them bound and everything. It's pretty crazy. And so was it Decipher games? I think Deciphered also. Like, does anybody remember Decipher games? So we'll try to pull that one up too. But here's the Star Trek one from last Unicorn games. And you may not know this, but Ken Hite was involved in this version. I think he was involved in this before everybody knew him as Ken Hite of Ken and Robin Talk About Stuff, the quarter content RPG podcast. I kid, Ken, Robin, you have reached a pinnacle that I only hope to attain sometime. Yeah, so it's this thing. So there's one for $38. This one's $28.50. Shipping is like $4. So they're not doing the $28 for the product and $50 for shipping. At least here it's in the US, $4. So 2850. It's probably got condition used, some rubbing of the corners, moderate wear. It's probably been in and off the shelf. The spine's probably, crinkled a little bit, but if you want to check out of print prices, look up the Astonishing Swordsman Sorcerer Hyperborea 2nd edition core prices. Oh, out of control, I imagine. Well, Jeff created that, right? He didn't print any. Like, that's it. Roger says, but then you'll have another RPG that you have multiple hardcovers of. If I did buy the 5 Conan books. Roger, that's what I like about you, buddy. You're always thinking. Just despite my bad verbiage towards you. Decipher also did one of the One Ring games. Phil says, Astonishing Swordsman Sorcerer Hyperborea 2E. I love flipping through the book. Amazing setting. Wish I could run that more often. Orcus is on year 3 of playing in a Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerer Hyperborea campaign. Going to start 3 rules next month. So Orcus Dorcas says 2E core going for $500 last I checked. That is crazy. Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyper. Like, how can this not just bring up this? Northwind Fantasy, first, very good, pre-owned, $140. Here's one, $395. That's 2nd edition, right? The $395. I should probably blow this up a little bit. $180. 1st edition. $2E. Player's manual. Add. I think that's it on eBay. No exact matches found. Okay. Did I type it in wrong? It's very possible. $395 now. Well, that's high. I mean, it could be inflation too. $395 bones plus $13 shipping. Excellent condition. And that's a sponsored one, so I wonder who has that. Sometimes Noble Knight. Yep, it's Noble Knight, of course. So let's check out something, right? Shall we? Because by all intents and purposes, Noble Knight will have that very copy in stock. There it is, $395. Recent arrival. So if you have not, like if you were looking for a game like this, and you have not gone to Noble Knight and put it on a wish list or a want list, dude, you're missing out. Because literally anytime they get that product in, you'll get an email. I have it set for one. I think I have it set for Knights of the Old Republic Saga Edition. And every time they're like, hey, and I always am interested to see what they're offering, because they'll get it in and then they'll post it, right? They'll put it in their inventory and be like, whoa, it's still 400 bones. Excuse me, I have to go throw up. Oh, I sold a 2nd edition with like 40 other games for a bundle price when I got 3rd. I did not get top dollar for it. Man, you gotta check the eBays before you get rid of some of that stuff. Like, I think some of the things I gave to Brett, some of those I did not. Like the Shackled City, and a couple other hardback adventures I kept. Like, I might have kept Ravenloft, Castle Ravenloft 3rd edition module hardback. because there were some that were just like 150 bones. I'm like, well, I just can't give that away. And I'm not sending it to freaking Noble Knight for him to give me like $30 for it. Here's the thing. There's individuals in the RPG hobby, right? Players that have this stuff and they never get it to the table. And they're sitting on like $400 book. Like, get rid of it, man. Put it on eBay and sell it. No, that's sacrilege. That's ridiculous, Sean. You've had it for, when did this thing come out? Anybody know? I don't even know. 2017. That's when it was published. So it's 5 years old. You haven't gotten to the table in 5 years. And they're coming out with 3rd edition. Man, I would unload that thing. Buy a few college textbooks for your kids. I don't know. Sweefer says, at what point in time does it become a collector's item and not a tome to be used? Who knows? Like, but here's the thing. This thing, what are you going to do? Put it in a museum? You know, get a curator and have it on display? Like, sell this thing. Because what's going to happen eventually is it might crash. As much as I'm a collector, I use, read, play my books, all of them. That's what they're for. This isn't Indiana Jones, right, Harrigan? Orcus says, I got one of the last 5 Jeff sold off on the Facebook group for a cost. Wow. So he just basically gave you like $300. So anyways, we're getting off a little of the topic. It's all about the Conan. Poor Gabe's, yeah. Let's get back to Conan. Come on now. Come on, Sean. All stock will be sold by June 30th, 2023. Will be sold, like, does that, they just can't, they don't want it, right? Do they have that much to get through to June? That is interesting. That must be a component, like, here's the deal of the license. If you don't have it, you can't sell it. Therefore, it has to be a deadline. But they say, we have all this inventory. We can't sell it by the December 31st. Yeah, fire sale for sure. If you've been waiting to pick up one of the books, now is your chance, either from retail or from the US or UK-based web stores. Get them while you can. And I mentioned this on the Discord. I really, truly hope that they do another bundle if they can. Like, why not? And then we can all kind of have them just in case. Because what may happen is it may disappear out of the PDF channels. Oh, it probably will, right? Like, I think it's going to be just taken down and removed because they can't sell them. Won't last long if Sean buys his 5 copies. That's right. We'll send you 3 of them, Roger, for as a token of my an apology to you. Adrian says there's no possible way I could ever play all my RPGs. Read, look at it, and happily own. Yes, play, really doubtful. Adrian, you are not alone. The struggle is real. Yeah, for sure. But you might have some gems in there, man. Might be some gems in there. For sure. Solar got some great John Carter Marr stuff when it went on fire sale. Yeah. So back to Conan, right? So 8 years now. Grand inspiration for our products, our board game, which rallied tens of thousands of players, was soon joined by a great role-playing game thanks to Modiphius, who did a fantastic job diving deep into this exciting setting. His fans will be forever grateful to Modiphius for their work and our collaborations on Conan. I wonder what makes up that segment for them. Like, how much of their revenue is from Conan? We may never know. Michael Holland, good to see you. Deities and Demigods with Cthulhu goodness is a protective cover. It belongs in a museum. Yeah, especially if it's in good condition. That's the one I don't have. I think Deities and Demigods I never owned. Well, might I own it now? I don't know. I'd have to double check, but I never owned it as a kid. It was one I just never interested in buying. So Monolith will bring back the Conan board game, then an all-new role-playing game. So Conan will continue, much like the Star Trek franchise, the Star Wars franchise, where they're going to license it to another company, which is interesting. Like, how does that play out? Like, all right, you guys are doing okay, but you're not making enough money for us. So Monolith we're going to give it to Monolith and give them a shot. It's got to be, right? It's got to come down to money or rubbing elbows. Like, I know a guy at Monolith. He's a friend of mine. We're going to give it to him. And it says, and who knows, it's certainly possible that our admiration for Robert E. Howard's work will lead us beyond the borders of the Hyborian Age. Stay tuned, Conan fans. We're just getting started. What? That's crazy talk there. I don't even know what that means. Oof. But yes, there has been talk about like, okay, great. So Conan goes away, but there's an open 2D20 SRD OGL. Like that was a debate too. Like I think Conan, Gabe can clear it up for me. Where there was a license that Modiphius had put out and said, hey, we're going to allow creators to do 2D20 work and allow that. Into the Marvel universe. Is it the MCU? Oh man. The Marvel universe. Well, that's right. Right. Conan did Marvel, right? Right? He was part of the Marvel universe. Like, okay, now it's clicked. Marvel put out Conan comic books. I would suggest getting the Conan core if you want to play the game, because that's going to be the first to sell out for sure. Orcus Dorcas says. Michael Holland, yeah, late. You're late, right? So the question of entry today is what RPG are you going to get to the table in 2023 to run, to game master, that you have not game mastered before? Just one. It's got to be GM or run or administer or oversee, however you want to frame it. Orcus Dorcas, is that towards Harrigan? What's your rarest item? Or is that in general? Maybe that's the next question for next week. What's your most rare RPG item, or most, like if you were to put it on eBay, you would get the most money for? Conan is part of the Savage Avengers series. Savage Avengers Secret Wars. Orcus Dorcas, I'm a shelfie slut regardless. I have no shame and am a cheap date with regards to that. Hey, stay down off the chairs, buddy. Damn it, Augie. Staring me with contempt. God damn it. To Harrigan, Orcus Dorcas says. So Harrigan, you have to answer Orcus Dorcas's question on what is the rarest book you have, rarest item. eBay value does not equal rarity. It does not. But, I mean, if we're going to put a dollar amount on something, we might as well use eBay as a price gauge. And sometimes it is a supply and demand, sometimes curve, right? Not always, but. Can you give us an example, Victor? where it's not rare, but it's still expensive. I'd be interested to know what an RPG specifically. Unofficial Geode Fest. Good morning. I would have to say you must be new. Oh, it's Kelly. Well, in that case, you're not new. Hey, Knuckle Nuts, can you stop that? I gotta give this guy some. Hold on a second. You out of my hair. This segment of the show is presented by Temptations. Don't get your cat whacked out on crack. Give him Temptations. Gotta put this somewhere because he'll jump up wherever it is. Knocked over my sign the other day. Anyways, hello, Kelly. Good to see you. Hope all is well. Kelly, if you could run a game in 2023, any game that you have not run before, a role-playing game specific, what would it be? What are you going to try to get to the table in 2023 that you have not run before? That's the question du jour. Knuckle Nuts, my new Tabaxi Rogue. You're welcome. Use and use freely, Orcus Dorcas. Rarest for Jason is the Lamentations of the Flame Princess box set. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. So, there she is. So yeah, there's Conan. It kind of sucks. Like, I'm not a big Conan fan, but it seems like a little bit of me is dying inside when they lose these licenses, and then it goes on to somewhere else, and then it's like, oh, are they going to get it? Hey, who's probably moved the most? What licenses move the most in the RPG hobby? I think it's pretty obvious, but I'm interested to hear who chimes in and see if we're on the same page. Ooh. Who? World of Darkness? Ooh, maybe. I would even say there's one over World of Darkness. I would say there's one that has moved around. Marvel? Ooh, I don't know, Gabe. You might kick yourself for this one. I don't know. I may be wrong, too. I don't know. Marvel's been Phaser Ipatisar, Cortex Prime. I know there's another one in there somewhere. I don't think it's Marvel. I think I got a better one. Gabe, you have disappointed me on this one, Gabe. Saga? Middle Earth, bam. Bam, I think it's Jason. For sure. Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth. Middle Earth role-playing, One Ring, all the different companies that have published that stuff. It's got to be, right? Right? Star Wars, WotC had it. They did different editions. West End Games had it. Fantasy Flight has had it. So about 3 of those. Star Trek, probably, I think it's had like 4. I think it's got to be. I think it's got to be Lord of the Rings, right? Catalyst game. Who's had it? Cubicle 7, Iron Crown Enterprises, Free League. Who had the Middle Earth 5e? Is that Cubicle 7? Then there was the One Ring. That's Cubicle 7. I'm getting them all messed up. Marvel Saga. Star Wars? I think Star Wars is it's only been 3 companies, Gabe, for Star Wars. Because there's different editions, but Wizards of the Coast owned it for a while. What is this guy doing? This guy is just. You cannot see him right here. Look at him. The mighty Augie. I'm telling you, this guy's big trouble. He's wondering where the more foods are. It's my co-host. Yeah, Wag, Watsy, and FFG. I think that's it for Star Wars. That won't be the end. But I think it's got to be. Middle Earth 4 companies. Is it 4 companies for Middle Earth? Lovecraft. Yeah, that's a weird one though. Because it is the public domain IP like Jason mentioned. So I don't. Do you have to license it? Marvel is more? Oh, an Edge. Oh, yeah. I suppose if you take FFG and then Edge. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one, Victor. I think it's a little gray because Edge is part of the Asmodee like sphere. But that's Lovecraft for sure. But do they have to license it? Cthulhu is many because the IP is open for sure. So maybe I'm framing this up incorrectly. Because do you still have to have a license to do Cthulhu? Or is it just the license is public domain IP license? Like license to me is like there's a license holder and you have to get a contract to be able to use that IP. Where I think Lovecraft you don't. Augie, seriously, I just gave you a bunch. You still want more? Man, strung out this guy. Judge Dredd? There might be some like Dredd might be some smaller ones. Lankmar, Andy Hall. See, you just gotta get the right to get somebody to come out of the lurking shadows. What's going on, Andy? All right, yeah, more. Okay, here. Leave me alone. Lankmar might be up there. Fritz Leiber, the Leiber estate. Now it's Lankmar might be on the tops. I need some research done. Who's the researcher? Andy, what are you going to get to the table in 2023 that you didn't in 2022 to GM? I'm still waiting on Michael Holland's answer. You can't get away, Michael. Arthurian myth. He's pulling crap out of his butt. Come on, Jason. Arthurian myth? That's not, you don't have to, that's not a, okay, we want to make sure we're clearing this up. Not necessarily IP, but license. There's got to be a license involved. Pendragon. Pendragon is one, huh? Oh. Ooh. I don't think, Harrigan, did you get Pendragon on the list to play? I thought you might have put that on there. Michael says, what game will I get to the table in 2023 to GM that I have not run or played before? Yes, I'd love to get the Alien RPG to the table this year. I think that would be awesome. Very well. Very good choice, I would say. In my humble opinion. Crabs, Designers, and Dragons. Give me a sec. Orcus Dorcas is on it. Bring it up on the podcast, Dorcas. Do it as a trivia. Bring it up. Have people ponder it for a while. Like rank them. The top 5 licensed IPs and RPGs. Adrian says, to GM in 2023, I'd like to run Mothership, Traveler, or Alien. I see a theme there. All good choices. As a matter of fact, Drive-Thru RPG thinks I'm a traveler aficionado. According to, based on your purchases, you should buy all of Mongoose Traveler. But here's the deal. Even if the license does not continue, it'll be fun. You can still play it, right? Dead Game Society is always an interesting group. They aren't as prevalent as they used to be, although I don't even know if they were. I mean, they used to have a little podcast. I knew the three guys that were kind of part of it. And I liked their kind of philosophy, which was they only run out of print games. And it was always funny because I'd go to a con and play in one of their games and it would be like Call of Cthulhu D20. And it's funny how because it's not like OSR, right? Like I only play OSR games, and OSR to me is white box. Bam. When you talk about the Dead Game Society, and what would be considered a dead game is simply like something that's no longer in print, and sometimes that can get a little not wonky, but it can get a little gray. So something like 3.0 or 3.5 is now considered a dead game, with those guys. But because you're always going back to like, oh, it's like Marvel, TSR, Boot Hill, Middle Earth Road Playing, Call of Cthulhu 2nd edition, first, like it's even Call of Cthulhu. Like, so is Call of Cthulhu a dead game? Even, well, yeah, it is if it's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th edition. I don't know why I went on that tangent, but reminiscing about the dead game, guys. All right, let's see. So I think everybody will be all right with the Conan thing. It's just going to take a little time. This one article. Not this one, this one. Micro RPGs are the perfect D&D alternative for holiday gatherings by Jennifer Meltzer at CBR.com. I thought this was okay. And some of us during the holiday season will be sitting around enjoying time with people we know. So I figured I'd look up this article and see what they'd have to say and what these cool micro RPGs are. And they were talking about like a spirited D&D one-shot can certainly be carried off without a hitch in a matter of hours. There are multitude of micro RPGs specifically designed to be played in a single session. Some of us are very well aware of that. So it says, here's what micro RPGs are and how to incorporate them into your holiday gatherings. So they're short, easy to pick up. How to incorporate them into the holiday gatherings. Not going to get into those details. Get your uncle, get drunk uncle involved. I'm sure it'll be a hoot. And here's some of the ones that they list, which I thought was interesting. Grant Howitt's popular micro RPG Honey Heist. Has anybody run or own Honey Heist? It says has two simple requirements: a complex plan that requires precise timing and player characters who are bears. Bear, I want to be a bear. A scenario like that could easily be adapted into a holiday-themed adventure featuring a group of wacky polar bears out to try and steal presents from Santa's sleigh. Oh. That's fantastic. Look at Harrigan's done research. Marvel. TSR. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So 5 different companies. I still think Lord of the Rings That they got more, right? And I think the new one's Renegade, right? Do. Victor says, I've got Honey Heist t-shirt edition. Is like the whole game on a t-shirt. And then the other one is Everyone is John, which is the one I've heard of. Could be altered to include a hive of voices in the mind of Santa Claus driving him crazy before the big day, which is a little unfortunate that they didn't actually talk about each game a little bit more in detail, because like we may know what Everyone is John. So Everyone is John. John is a guy, and then each person takes on a part of John's brain, essentially. Laramie Wall, good to see you, buddy. How's it going? Laramie, 2023 is coming. You have not run this game ever before, and you're going to run it in 2023 as a game master. What game is it? Michael Holland, Middle-earth role-playing. Ice. Lord of the Rings adventure game. Ice. Oh, so 1. The Lord of the Rings role-playing Decipher. Okay, so there's 2. Then the One Ring Adventures, Over the Edge of the Wild, Cubicle 7. There's 3. And Adventures in Middle-earth by Cubicle 7, so that's still 3, right? Till It Moves. Who did the 5e? Was that Cubicle 7? I think it is Adventures in Middle-earth. And then it's the One Ring, which is Free League. So not to be confused with like, okay, we own the license of Middle-earth. I'm one company. I'm going to do it for multiple systems. We're talking about different companies. And there's one more. The company that did the first 5e adaptation, still looking for more there. Laramie says Forbidden Lands. That's the one he wants to get to the table in 2023. AIM also is a second iteration from Cubicle 7. Okay. So if we come to the conclusion which one has the most companies that have licensed it. Keep hearing good things. Yeah, it is good things, Laramie. Going back to this, so Laramie and some of those that joined late, some of the banter about Lord of the Rings, Marvel, we're trying to determine what, because of Conan, right? The news of Conan, Modiphius not having the Conan license after December 31st of this year. So we were talking about intellectual properties like Conan, Marvel, Star Wars, Star Trek. Star Trek might be up there. Star Trek's got Last Unicorn Games, FASA, Decipher, Modiphius. They have 4. I don't think there's other ones in there. So we're trying to figure out what property has moved to the most companies. And with some of I would have said it was Lord of the Rings, Tolkien, Middle-earth. But it appears that it may not be as many, because it looks like there have been different iterations like Cubicle 7 has done different iterations, and Ice might have done a couple of iterations, so it might not have moved as many times as we anticipated. Although there is Marvel, yeah, Marvel's definitely up there. So there's Margaret Weiss, TSR, Renegade Studios, and Cortex, right? Margaret Weiss Productions. I don't know if there's any more than that, though. Yeah, AIM is also a second iteration from Cubicle 7. Marvel's had 4. So it sounds like 4 is kind of standard. Even Star Wars, you could say, has had 4. If you put Edge in there. Cthulhu's been out there and mentioned, but that's more of a public domain IP, so I don't know if I'd count that. Like it's Lankmar has been out there. Somebody's mentioned that. For 5 to 6 games, depending on how you count MSH, Marvel Superheroes, and the Advanced Edition. Not games. That's different. Like you could, if you own Star Wars, you could be, we're talking RPGs, but like, look at like all the Star Wars games they have out there. We're talking about company who owns the RPG licenses. Michael Holland found another one for Star Trek published by Heritage Models in 1978. Star Trek Adventure Gaming in the Final Frontier was one of the earliest licensed RPG adaptations of Star Trek. Might be Star Trek coming out of nowhere. Lankmar, TSR, Goodman, Pinnacle. I don't think WotC owned it. Right? No title of Lankmar under WotC's umbrella, is it? Warhammer? Top 5. Well, Warhammer might be. They've moved around. And is it Warhammer 40K, fantasy, or both? I think if you get the Warhammer license, you get both, right? Like fantasy and 40K have been under Rogue Trader. And Black was the other one? Black Label, Black something Designs? I don't know. Warhammer, that's a good one, Jason. Warhammer has not been mentioned. That's why we're here, folks. That's what we're here to do. It's like, I'm here to pick your brains, and you guys like. All right, what else we got here? Bear with me. So micro RPGs. I don't know if I went through all of them. They didn't really mention a ton. So they did Everyone is John. Here it is. Roll for Shoes. I saw that. Thought of our friend Jim. Roll for Shoes is for a good one, for example. And it's a free one. So many online micro RPG resources are free to download or pay what you want. So for the holidays, check out micro RPGs for one shots. Easy rules, get it up and running. And another oldie but goodie is Michael Sullivan's and Jeffrey Grant's 2001 game All Out of Bubblegum, which can quickly get hilariously out of hand and have everyone at the table laughing. But I wish they would just say what it is. Like, what is it? The internet doesn't offer up enough solutions. There is even a book on the market edited by James Amato called The Ultimate Micro RPG Book that contains 40 quick and easy micro RPGs. Getting creative with the available games out there is the perfect way to adapt just about any game. So, micro RPGs. I don't know if we have any micro RPGs on the list for BSRCon, do we? Speaking of BSRCon, hello, heyo, good segue. If you are oh man, I don't know if this is gonna. I figured it wouldn't resolve. Today, if you're interested and are going and participating. Today's event registration for BSRCon, an online convention that I administer, and many of the folks in the chat will be in attendance, and not only in attendance, but running games. And today is the event registration goes live at noon Central Time. Adjust your internal clocks accordingly. It's going to be held January 20th to the 22nd, all online. People are going to be running stuff on Foundry and Roll20, using Discord and Zoom and everything else under the sun. So it's $10. I'm going to give half the proceeds to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So if you're interested, you got to buy a badge first. Don't go there and register for an event before you forget to buy a badge. It's a fun time. There's usually a couple like lulls in between games, or people don't have games and they get in the lounge and shoot the proverbial shit for a little while. So it's good. We have, if you haven't looked at the events, by all means do so. If you say, well, hey, some of these events have, some people have already registered for these events, and that would be some of the patrons of this channel. In my endeavors, did get early registration, but there's plenty out there. I don't know if any of these games are completely full. Even the Conan 2D20, The Valley of the Lost. Who's running that thing? It's got to be some spectacular game master. Gabe, I think, would probably be running that. Has one chair left. I have one chair left in my Blade Runner game that's being run on that Friday morning. Sorry. But check it out. We have, how many games do we have? Should we check? Probably should check. We have, it's not going to count them for me, is it? No, of course not. 48 games? Some have canceled, so that might be give or take. And then there's a paint room. There is one sold out. Look at that. A Barbarians of Lemuria game by a guy named Harrigan has sold out. And there's the Call of Cthulhu game. That one's been canceled. So Harrigan has the only sold out game. This freaking guy. Murder Hobo Show, Electric Booger Poo. That's what my wife calls it. Not Booger Poo. She calls it Electric Boogerloo. You and her, same page. Warhammer and 40K separate IPs. I don't know, Michael. I think it's all one. Like they have one, like they're not two different licenses. I think Warhammer and 40K, they're probably the same. So who has families who would play RPGs on the holidays? Not me. You want to play one of those? Oh, let Gabe run. You don't want to play one of those games. It's not like Monopoly, Mom. It's a weird. Gabe and his buddies play it all the time. They talk like elves and whatever. They go through Middle Earth. You won't understand it. It's all about categories and whatever. Murder Hobo Show 2023. You got to get a game to the table that you've never run or played before. And you're going to run it in 2023. What game is it? Yeah, I don't. So yes, by all means, going back to BS or Con quick. Event submission will be open up until the Friday of the convention. So if you want to add more games and you want to run and you haven't decided, you can do that. I would imagine there's going to be some stragglers after today that will come and want to play. And so rather than have like necessarily a pick up game, which we can have in the Discord as well, or AKA off grid, you could still put it in tabletop events and direct people to your game and say, hey, just go and sign up for my game so I know you're in there and you've got a reserved chair. Because I think if you get them to sign up, they'll show. I think the ad hoc games that people offer probably are like, it's on there. They post it on Discord. And we had a lot of people not show up for those last minute. Hey, I'll run this game if everybody's up for it. So maybe this will help without closing it. So it's not like we have to coordinate tables. Looking for the sign up. Jason Connerly is running some stuff I'm going to try and get into. By all means. Something Genesis. Ooh, yeah. And this is the thing. This is the beauty of BSRCon. You guys, of course. But also the plethora of different games. Aegon, Blade Runner, Monster of the Week, Harnmaster, there's some 5e, Savage Pathfinder, Conan 2D20, Warp Star, Barbarians of Lemuria, Fleo, Cortex, Troika, Classic Traveler, Symbaroum, Native, right? Symbaroum Native, Lady Blackbird, Tales from the Loop. Have I repeated one yet? Age of Sigmar, Harnmaster, Cyborg, Against the Dark Master, Call of Cthulhu, Fate, Cypher, Burn 2D6 by Kevin, the Saltmeister in the chat, Boot Hill, Cortex, Index Card RPG, Dicey Tales RPG, Breakers, Feng Shui 2, 2nd edition, Inspectors. Like I don't think I mentioned one twice. There's a couple in there that are twice, like Savage Worlds. I think there's 2 Savage World games. And 2 Barbarians of Lemuria. That's it. Yeah, there's one ICRPG. Andy. Looks like CJ is going to be running that. That's Polish Ogre in our Discord. I'm telling, 2 Barbarians of Lemuria games. Like this is like a smorgasbord. It's going to the buffet, folks, right? It's not just all hot dogs, macaroni and cheese. A lot of different stuff here. Just fantastic. That is fantastic. Like that is so great. And thank you all for if you volunteered to run a game, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. So it's could be off the hook. So try something different. There's lots of different games. For sure. So anyways, you can register events after I don't know if all of them will fill necessarily. There's still a lot of openings. I think Gabe's and mine are probably the closest, but then we also have like Gabe's Conan games 3 players. So, it's kind of a low bar to fill. Like, filled all mine. Sean, you only opened it up for 1 other player. Just kidding. Not taking anything away from Gabe. I think Gabe's the next one on the list to fill his role, his game, mine. And then there's plenty open. We'll have a little happy hour, like late, when hopefully everybody's done with their games, even though it's like weird, because some of those, like late for me would be like 10 o'clock at night, which is like 8 in Hoose's world out on the West Coast, as well as Adrian's area. That's not late. So anyways, let's get into some more stuff, man. Tabletop Awards 2022. Dicebreaker. I don't know who puts these on. I don't know if it's Dicebreaker. Tabletop Awards 2022. It is theirs. Our inaugural awards event received dozens of nominations across 7 categories, looking to recognize the most outstanding games creators and talent of the last 12 months for visitors of Dicebreaker. Nominations spanning blockbuster releases and hidden indie gems. Established names and those rising stars already making their mark on the industry. Shall we see? I'm not going to go to YouTube. Please don't let me watch YouTube. Receiving the Tabletop Award for Best Board Game was Flamecraft. Not a board gamer, but okay. In Designer, Many Vega's adorable game of Dragon Traders, players look to place the fire-breathing artisans in suitable shops so they can earn the most reputation with their talented Flamecraft. Okay, Flamecraft. That's a little bit about Flamecraft. Coyote and Crow, or Coyote and Crow, was named as the best role-playing game at the Tabletop Awards 2022. Released this April after a record-breaking Kickstarter campaign in the spring of last year, the tabletop RPG takes place in an alternate history world where colonization of the Americas never took place, allowing its indigenous inhabitants to blossom into a technologically and spiritually advanced society. If you have not heard of that game, what rock have you been hiding under? Zero Theory. Good to see ya. Zero Theory. If you need to get a game, you need to get a game to the table in 2023, and you're going to game master. What game is it going to be? And my wife is walking around upstairs, which means the dogs are going to be up, which means Sean has to take out the dogs. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get through this, folks. Zero Theory. Pose the question to you. Murder Hobo, did you answer? Genesis, he says. Okay. Oh gosh, Merkberg. That's the one right now. That's on your list. Okay, very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So I'm gonna have to take my dog out. He's gotta go to the bathroom. Anyways, so Coyote and Crow. Congratulations to them. Our Tabletop Awards category, recognizing the best release in 2022 for trading, collectible, living, or otherwise expandable card game. Best ongoing card game was won by Flesh and Blood Everfest. Oh, there you go. Among Chan's latest project, hold on a second. Designer of the Year, celebrating an established tabletop creator with at least 3 releases under their belt, is Banana Chan. Known for creating narrative-driven role-playing games that tell meaningful, diverse stories such as Jin Shi, Blood in the Banquet Hall, and An Exquisite Crime. Chan also has credits on games from D&D 5e, Van Richten's Guide, Ravenloft, and the Dune RPG, to Rules Light Gem, Kids on Bikes, and board game Sea of Legends. Banana Chan has been busy. Latest projects: Deimos Academy, a GM-less horror RPG played inside a coloring book. And the latest 3rd edition of Betrayal at House on the Hill, and an upcoming board game based on horror movie series Child's Play. Wow. A force. She is a force in the RPG hobby. First Tabletop Award for Publisher of the Year went to Free League Publishing. Ayo! Yes? I'm going to come up in a second, please. The prolific Swedish outlet known for role-playing games is Alien, Symbaroum. I mean, color me shocked. Link to the list. I will be more than happy to get you a link. All right, guys, I had to take a break because my dog's whining at the top. If you want to stick around, I'll be right back as soon as I take him out. If you take off, I understand. So stay tuned. I don't know if I have a break. Do I have a break? I don't have a break. Bear with me. I'll take him out. I'll be right back, guys. My apologies. Dogs, what are you going to do? All right, so where did we leave off? Awards. Hope you guys conversed. Let's see. Free League One. Let's see. Rising Star Designer, the first of 2 Rising Star Awards, celebrating up-and-coming creators with 2 or fewer released to date, was taken home by Lottie and Jack Hazel, the husband and wife, designer-publisher pair behind this year's dog-walking board game Dog Park. Okay. And Coyote and Crow, the fledgling studio behind the groundbreaking role-play game of the same name, scooped its second award of the show in Rising Star Publisher. So, led by owner Connor Alexander. I think that is, Beam Saber. So, jury voted awards was the People's Choice Award, as voted by you, the public. Thousands of votes were cast for dozens of games, representing the sheer breadth of tabletop gaming. Ultimately, though, one game came out on the victor, Beam Saber, which is Austin Ramsey's role-playing game of giant, powerful mechs, and their fragile human pilots received hundreds of votes, winning players over with its combination of high-action tactical gameplay, a clever evolution of the Forged in the Dark system used in Blades in the Dark that sees players divide time between the intense battles and character-driven downtime between fights, an exploration of the physical and psychological costs of war. So, mecha guys and gals, if you played Beam Saber, Beam Saber. Interesting. Let's see. What else we got here? Print news. Maybe we can go over to that. No, hold on a second. News Digest. Ian World. Always good stuff. Go to Ian World. Check it out. So, news. D&D stuff. Some changes. Ongoing. Where is Ty when I need him? So check out if you're interested in the D&D 1 stuff. Trivial Pursuit D&D. Should be interesting. I would suck at that. Ian Publishing's products and Dragon Meat. Dragon Meat's going on in the UK currently. Paizo announced a partnership with Type 40 to produce props and artifacts for Pathfinder and Starfinder. Interesting. What happened to Beetle and Grimm? Beetle and Grimm still doing their thing? Paizo also released the Drift Hackers Player's Guide, a free PDF download companion for the upcoming Drift Hackers Adventure Path. Interesting. Blade Runner. Woot woot. It's out, folks. Voted the most anticipated new RPG of 2022 here on EN World. The Blade Runner RPG will launch a core rulebook, Game Master screen, and starter set. I didn't get a GM screen. I think I might have to check my pledge. I think I might have got rooked. Because I have the limited edition cover. I can't imagine why I wouldn't have not received the Game Master screen. Harrigan, did you get one? I don't know if you're still there. I got the starter set. Steve Jackson Games and Dire Wolf announced the launch of the early access to Munchkin Digital. Munchkin. Two bits of labor organization news for TTRPG seen this week. Noble Knight Games United announced that the retail and online store, Noble Knight Games, has voluntarily recognized the union. The announcement came ahead of a scheduled December 8 vote held by the employees. In early November, Noble Knight hired union-busting law firm National Labor Relations Advocates and then attempted to contest the eligibility of around half of the workers seeking to organize to vote and join the union. The union posted the announcement that Noble Knight Games recognized the union on Thursday. And they say, we received word from ownership this morning after careful discussion and feedback from the workers. Noble Knight Games has made the decision to recognize our union. We're feeling ecstatic, and we have a very important ask of you all. Show NKG some love. Oh, yeah. They're not going to be any good if they're not in business. They've expressed to us their intent to be reasonable and to bargain in good faith. Tag the official accounts with supportive words, leave celebratory reviews, and express your excitement in the future of NKG and the community. We truly love working here, and we want NKG to thrive. We're honored and grateful to serve such a supportive community in Madison, my hometown here. We appreciate everything you've done and hope you'll continue to support as we enter the bargaining phase. And I know personally one or two people at work out there. So congratulations to NKG Games, NKG United. And then Paizo. Paizo workers announced progress in their contract negotiations with Paizo. So far, the union and management have reached tentative agreements on benefits, hours of work, remote work, and time off. Only a handful of articles remain before a complete CBA is ready for ratification. So I'm interested to find out how long their contracts are. I've been involved with contracts that have been 3 years, typically. In an office, the OPEIU, I think it's called Office Professionals International Union. Professional something, yeah. GM screen was an add-on. I should have got it, though, Hoos. Come on, it would have been part of the big bundle, right? Oh, it's Jay. Hey, Jay. I'm back. Oh, how far behind is the chat? Jeez. Murdo, I imagine he's outside right now gently trying to coax them to go to the bathroom. Here's the thing. If I get my dogs, here's some insight. I have to feed my dogs half their food in the morning and then half at night. And before we would only give them all their food at night. Well, then my dog would get tummy aches and want to eat all the grass. So sometimes if I go too long, that's the problem. So I have to take him out. Then he wants to eat grass. And I'm like, dude, come on. I'll get you inside and eat some food. There you go. Print news. Let's go to print news. Quick. Print news, or what I like to refer to them as Kickstarter releases that are now things you can buy. Not always, but you know the deal. First one, T1, The Thing in the Valley, 5th edition, Path of the Vanished BX, and The Lost Triptych BX by Pacesetter Games. Merchants of Magic, 5e. Endless Encounters, 5e by Pacesetter Games. It also have a BX version. So I wonder, I don't want to get into it. Never mind. Shadowrun, Hack and Slash, Shadowrun, Artpo 4, though, 16-month calendar, Shadowrun. Catalyst Games. For Shadowrun fans. Substratum. Descend, Learn, Survive. A unique system using D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, D20. Okay. you use all those dice. Digest size softcover rulebook and adventure, $5. A scientists in exosuits survival RPG. While the cracks that split the planet open are letting the deadly hazards out, the PC scientists will make their way in. The molten core of the planet was consumed to power. What am I doing here? Are consumed to power an interdimensional portal. The PCs need to figure out how to fix the core, reach the portal, and close it. Multiple deadly hazards detected. Probability of reaching core 12.2%. Chances of survival greater than 0. Descent approved. So I'll back up. Sorry, guys. I wasn't even. There's this stuff. T1 Thing of the Valley. Merchant's Magic 5e. Endless Encounters 5e and BX. Shadowrun stuff. Substratum. Caught up. Uh-oh. I better mute because I think my wife's going bad. Apparently my dog is not going very well. I will be right back again, and we'll probably wrap this up, so bear with me. In the infamous words of Pink Floyd, is there anybody out there? Puppers are fine. Seamus didn't want to eat, so then he wanted to go out and eat grass because his stomach's going crazy. It's not the first rodeo. The way to get Seamus to eat is you get somebody else that wants to eat his food, and then he will eat. What's up, Victor? That's all that matters. If there's one person in the room, let's do this. All right. So we went in over Substratum. It might be that. No, Ghost Boy. So this is print news. Jason, good to see you. World Cup. I know I'm missing it. I had some World Cup in over the holiday weekend. Ghost Boy. Dinoberry Press unique system trifold pamphlet, $8. 2 to 3 PCs each take on the role of an aspect of the world as a ghost explores it, remembering their past and coming to terms with the changes that have occurred since they left the material world behind. A melancholic game of reflection, but can also be joyful. Remember to thank the ghost for its time and never play this game again. Ghost Boy. All right. Killer ratings. Bannerless game, softcover rulebook, unique system, $20. One shop, zero prep, rules light role-playing game for 3 to 5 PCs. PCs are the cast and crew of a terrible paranormal investigation show on the verge of cancellation. The good news is the PCs secured the rights to film the season finale in the most haunted location in America. The bad news is the place is actually haunted. In short, the PCs are loud, campy reality TV stars who blithely walk into one of the worst places on earth, and most of them won't survive. But however it shakes out, it will make for great TV. There you go. What's up, Shay? What's up, Jumbo? It's the zoo. It's the family zoo today. What's up, Zweefer? All right, guys are still here. Thanks, guys, for sticking it out. Appreciate it. Much appreciated. Let's do, should we do crowdfunding news? Crowdfunding news. Thanks to EN World again, always good resource. Crowdfunding. And before I go, I think I got to promote, a week from now, I will not be streaming. Remind me to bring that up before I take off. Crowdfunding news. Dark Forest. Geek Funk 2090 Dark Forest from CRISPR Monkey Studios. This ends December 9th. It's 5th edition. It is funded. 1 for 1 so far. It's a meeting of 5e and biopunk. Yeah. Potent mix of cyberpunk and body horror, body enlightenment. Okay. Oh, excuse me. The After, Tales from the Trail, Volume 2. Savage Worlds. Licensed from Jade Monkey. Oh, my goodness, now I have the hiccups. That's going to be awesome. It's an adventure for Suede. It is funded. No, it is not funded. It's like $100 away. $100. $92. 92 pounds. I should get this straight. I will get it straight. It's almost there. It's almost there. Menagerie of Adventures, number 3, 5 D&D Adventures. Do you think it's funded? It's by Menagerie Press. It's for 5th edition. Booyah, Grandpa. Next one. Constant Downpour. Mothership. Constant Downpour Remastered. For use with Mothership 1st edition, because now it'll be 1st edition in the new one. Interesting. This is an adventure, ends December 8th. $56 is the most popular pledge for the PDF and print versions of the book. A CD, a notebook, a weapons catalog, art, print, patches, and more. Dubbed a stress crawl, Constant Downpour Remastered is about trying to survive as the toll and loss of sanity mounts up. This book comes in at over 100 pages and more, with more than 20 encounters and monsters, factions, weapons, NPCs, river rafting rules, maps, and more. In addition to this adventure inspired by Ray Bradbury's The Long Rain, there's a soundtrack to get the table in the mood. Wow. Mothership lovers. Did you know about this? It is funded, man. Next one. Brimstock. The monster music festival that's heavier than hell. What is this? A setting supplement and collection of character options for D&D 5e. It's 5e. Is it funded? No, of course it is at a 1,200%. Yes. Quest Decks 2.0. New decks, new art, new concepts. System neutral, yo. Most popular pledge, 123 bones. 10 quest decks in print and PDF. Wow. 55 grand, 1,800%. Wow. Holy buckets. That's a lot of cards. 1 week to go. Good. Wow, cool. Simple side quests providing an engaging bit of discovery on any given game night. 45 cards a deck. 10 decks. 450 cards. And wow. Themes as horror and mystery, lost and found. Select a deck, draw a few cards, pick a quest, and go. Bam. That's pretty cool. Witness, a solo RPG from Matt Parkinson. Using these 52 cards, you'll generate a crime. Then an eyewitness will recount the crime, giving you enough details to learn who the witness is and what they can recall. You work on the who, what, when, where, and why in order to serve justice. It's an original system. Interesting. If you want to solve, if you want to work on a draw and write RPG about solving crimes, this may speak to you. Color me intrigued. That's funded. Good for them. Real Life Encounters RPG Map Pack. 450 JPEGs. System neutral by Matthew New. Matthew New owns a drone and a camera with which he takes pictures and makes RPG encounter maps of real-world locations. Just as Google Earth offers images of roads, homes, cities, and everything between, these maps give you real-world images for use in your RPGs. Still has 5 days to go. About 500 pounds to go. Yeah, well, good luck to Matt on that one. Treasury tokens. 300 useful, beautiful tokens for games. System neutral. 10 pounds for all the digital tokens. Need printable tokens. Project offers hundreds of a low price organized for each easy discovery and usable in most VTTs. Elves, pirates, rabbit folk, vampires, dragons, and more. But do they have ducks? That's the question. They have a 56-page 5e adventure to use with the tokens. If you need a lot of tokens at a small price, this is a good deal. 3,895% funded. Wow. A Brazen Crown by Longtail Games for Merkberg is a card game. Look at that. It's $60 Australian. plus shipping and handling. Oi. It's not a role-playing game, but a card game based on the popular RPG Merkberg. Heavy metal RPG Merkberg. 306 cards, 90 tokens, a rules book, and box. The games are fast and brutal with death at 0 HP. Using all of your cards or triggering the 7th misery. If you're interested, they have the rules and a digital sample linked through the campaign page. It is not funded and has 6 days to go and ways to get there. That is not going to come to fruition, my guess, because they're like 14 grand off. That is it for crowdfunding games. That is it. Did I miss anything? Awards, micro RPGs, print, crowdfunding, news digest. That's it. That's it. That's all I got, folks. Sorry I had the breaks that I did. I apologize. It's going to be hard to edit those out, so some people will go along. If I had timestamps, I'll have to put those in for folks that get the VOD. Although they can scrub. It's not that terribly hard. But anyways, thanks for coming. Thanks for sticking with me. I know some had dropped, and being 2.5 hours in, I'm not going to go into a ton of cold shadows. But you never know. It's maybe a video upcoming. Maybe. We'll go over it. I think I did one and I just never edited it. I should really probably just put it out. I know, right, Jay? But anyways, I hope to see some of you at BSRCon. I know some of you will be there. Thank you so much. Zero therapy. Pupper care is important. So yeah, it's just more timing. Like if my wife sleeps in, then they sleep. Once she's up. Look at that. Gabe Dibbing is still there. Andy Hall. Good. Interested in the Cold Shadows talk. All right, Andy. Yeah. We'll do something. We'll do something. And Conan, long live Conan. 2D20. I want to thank these folks for supporting me in my endeavors. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Remember BSRCon, like I mentioned, and do some gaming. And next week, I need to check my email. Hold on a second before I let you guys go. Hold on. Yeah, you didn't get back to me. Shoot. That's a booger. Darn it. So next week, quick update. So next week, I will not be streaming here. I will actually be playing in an RPG being run by Edwin Nagy. And some of you might know Edwin from a couple live plays we've done. I think he's been involved with some Delta Green, Impossible Landscapes live play on this channel. So if you want to check that out, Edwin has been part of Frog God Games for a little while, doing some work for them, and he's edited some YouTube videos. But he's going to be running, I think it's the Jerry Stefanik Crawl for the Cure fundraiser, and there's going to be 4 games. Starts like 8 in the morning and gets done at midnight. So I will be on Twitch as a player in Edwin's DCC game. It'll be levels 2 to 3, so it won't be a funnel. I think there's 4 of us, and then after that is another game and another game, another game. So if you want to tune into that, there'll be ways for you to chip in a couple bucks for boons and die rolls and setbacks. If you really want to have fun with me as a player and player character, by all means. Thank you, Laramie. Thank you. Love you too, Laramie. Roger, humble apologies for my indiscretion earlier. So I will make sure I post it. I reached out to Corey Welch, who's kind of administering it, and I thought there was like going to be a banner somewhere, and I'll get the Twitch channel and I'll put it out there so you guys can tune in. I think I start at 8 a.m. Central Time. So this won't happen, but that will. So for those that want to tune in with their cuppa and listen to a live play, it should be a hoot. Yeah, and I'll get you some more details. Let's see if I have it right here. No, it's not. Great. Awesome. It's going to be, it's called Beware the Yule Cat. That's all I know. So, if I don't talk to you next weekend and you don't happen to show up for the live play, enjoy yourself. And then I will catch you on the next one, which will be the 17th. My math is correct. Otherwise, be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby, game on, and make sure you get some time to yourself. All right. We'll talk to you later. Thanks, guys.